Good morning, afternoon, and or evening for anyone that may be watching this. Welcome to the Finer Things in Life podcast, episode 4. Today is going to be a bit of a special episode because today's topic is quite close to my heart. It's something I grew up with and it's something that I enjoy thoroughly. And you probably can tell by both the title of the video and the change in music from cafe jazz to this more harp-like, violin-like music. Today's topic, video games and fantasy. And for today, I've
Mm-hmm.
actually got two co-hosts with me, two of my very good friends that I play frequent fantasy games with. Rod, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Raffy from Jacarelium. I think you know us from our videos about gaming as well, and as Ivan said, I'm his playmate. Whenever we play D&D.
Ayan, nice. I'm Jose Rafael Libana from Brainsight, and that's about it.
All right. So there you have it. Here are my two co-hosts, Rafi and Rod. So, Rafi and Rod, because
Uh-huh.
today's episode is in fact video games and fantasy, two
Oh, what's
things
up?
that I'm very sure that all three of us grew up with. I I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask. I mean, both of you go. Whoever's interested in answering first, because eventually we know what this is gonna devolve into.
Oh
Uh,
no.
but I want to start off with a simple question. What were both of your first experiences with either of those, video games and or fantasy? What was your first experience with it?
Oh no.
First experience. Uh,
Ikaw na, Rafi, mauna ka na.
so okay, I'll go first. Uh, first, my first exposure to video games would be probably when I played on my cousin's DS. They had like, Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D World.
Right.
I know, sorry, not 3D World, just Super Mario 3D. And it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And there's still two games that I find like very nostalgic to me. Like, they bring back a lot of memories just thinking about them. I wasn't very good at either of them, but it was cool to have like a controller, and when you
Yeah.
press the button, I think Mario moves, and I
Yeah.
thought that was really neat. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that was your first ever
Then,
experience with video games.
oh yeah, yeah, with the video games, that's it. Uh, for fantasy, probably, I mean, uh, I guess the first exposure I had to fantasy would be probably like Sophia the First.
You know what? Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay.
Sophia the First. I feel
And
like
yeah,
that's
Sophia the
pretty.
First.
I feel like that's pretty. Isn't that kind of recent in terms of like cartoon shows?
Yeah, I think
Like
that's
I mean,
2018.
that's like one of the later
2018.
ones.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. My brain's not super good. But I remember like when my sister was like really. Oh wait, 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 never mind, never mind. First exposure to fantasy in general would be Barney.
You know what?
You
Oh.
know, diba? Barney is a dinosaur that comes from our imagination,
Uh
and I
huh.
think that has like some sort of fantasy magic to it.
I mean,
Wait.
I guess
Barney's not real.
way to crush everyone's dreams, Rod. I mean, I feel like. Well, I'll get into that later, but for now, Rod, how about you? What was your first experience with video games
Ah,
and fantasy?
for video games, mine's more simple. When I was elementary, I was not allowed to like own any consoles, video game consoles, any. cell phones. So whenever I want to play something and I need to borrow my mom's phone,
Right.
and the first game that I played from my mom's phone is from her Nokia 3310, a snake.
Nah.
Snake. Yeah, tapos,
I mean, I
yeah, go on.
I don't think there's. I mean, in terms of games, I think Snake is probably one of the most famous. I mean, I wouldn't say famous, but like I don't know anyone that doesn't know what Snake is. You know?
Yeah,
Mm.
It's like if you were born at all anywhere, like if you were born before like 2010, you know what Snake is.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Um
Um, Tapos yun nga, and then, I have a neighbor na hinihiraman ko ng PSP, tapos dun naglalaro ako ng GTA San Andreas. Saka ano,
Wait,
I
how
also,
old were you when you played it though?
ah, for legal reasons, I'm 18 years old, pero, but I was like,
For legal reasons?
yeah, for legal reasons, let's just say 18 years old.
sure,
Paano
yeah.
yung ano, para siya ano, for podcast reasons, for
Uh,
content reasons.
for content reasons, for reality, mga 12,
I
13.
mean,
Okay, that's reasonable,
it's
reasonable.
better than most people, you know.
Yeah. Uh, I saw a dude shooting guns. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
mean,
guns when they shoot, when they fire the big loud bullet, it is
Yeah.
very very entertaining.
Also, the cutscenes in San Andreas, golden.
yeah. For I mean, it for in terms of video games in general, I think I don't know if this is the vast majority of people, but I would say a very, very big portion of, uh, I hate to use the word, but I kind of have to, gamers. Ugh.
Yeah.
But I feel like a big chunk, maybe even a majority of gamers, they
You know
got
you could make it like people who play video games.
okay. A
I
vast,
think that
I
works.
feel like a majority, or at least a very big chunk of people who play video games, they got their start with something that involved guns. You know, like either they played some kind of side scroller that had guns, they played some variation of Counter Strike, or perhaps maybe they started by maybe their dad was playing, or their older brother was playing, or a family member was playing, and they saw and they were like, oh, I want to try that. Personally, my first
Guns.
experience with video games, I forgot what the name of it was, but I remember, and this
Can you describe to us?
this was because this was my very first experience with video games, and I will never forget it because it was so fun, but it was also so scary because I was a scaredy cat kid. But um, my first experience was this side scroller video game. For those of you in the audience that don't know what a side scroller is, imagine Mario. It's basically where it's a 2D video game where you only go left or right. Um, I don't remember what the name was, and I'm so sad that I don't remember the name because it was such a fun game. But it's basically you were in a tank, and you would go to the right. It was a PC game, and it was really old. But you were in a tank, and you would go to the right, and you had to fight aliens. So it was basically a side scroller shooter game where it was kind of like Galaga, maybe, I don't know,
Uh,
but it wasn't like
Galaxian?
it wasn't arcadey, but you were in a tank and you were like this soldier dude, and you had to shoot aliens, and you got upgrades, and then there were bosses, and it was fun. It was great. I loved it. It was my first experience with video games, and ever since then I've been hooked, obviously. And then it was Plants vs Zombies. I never finished Plants vs Zombies because I got scared all the time. Because when you're like a 7-year-old child playing Plants vs Zombies, you know the green text that comes on screen when you
Yeah, the
fail.
zombies are
Zombies.
coming. No,
Like
not
the
that.
zombies have eaten, or like the
Your
zombies have
brain.
eaten your brains. I was so scared of that as a kid. That, like, to me,
Yun nga.
that was genuinely scary when like the zombies
Children
got
are
to my
cowards.
house. Yeah, like that was so scary when the zombies got to the house, because I was like, dang. Like, I would run to the other side of the room when the zombies got in. That's how scared it was. But it was fun.
May naalala akong ano, I remembered a meme na it's about that. Basta it's about a Google review of Plants vs Zombies. I'm gonna show it to you later after this. It's so stupid. I mean, I
But
think
basically,
it's you.
what was it basically?
Basically, it's you know r slash English. It's just poor. It's just a Google review of Plants vs Zombies, made from a guy that cannot speak a single English, and he's trying his best to just say to Google reviews that Plants vs Zombies bad for his child.
It's too scary.
Yes.
I mean, I don't completely disagree. So, but in general, a vast majority of people who've played video games have played some kind of old arcade type video game. Either that's Plants vs
Oh
Zombies
yeah.
or some kind of shooter, or maybe cards. Cards is also a type of, not video game, but it's a type of game, and a lot of them include
Oh yeah.
fantasy, like Yu-Gi-Oh. I did
Oh
play
wait.
Yu-Gi-Oh for quite a while as a kid, because I was introduced to it by an older person that got me into the game in the first place. Thing is, me and my brother would play it, and we were playing it completely wrong, obviously, because we didn't know like anything at all about how to play it. We were kind of just like,
Oh yeah.
oh, I win because I have the bigger monster. Because you see the stars on the monster. I have more, so I win. It was kind of just like that, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was really good.
You,
Yeah, we
Raffy,
sort of did the same thing with like Bakugan. Like we had
yeah,
the Bakugan cards
yeah, Bakugan.
and like a bunch of fake Pokemon cards.
I
So
have
ano,
a lot of those.
Bakugans or Pokemon cards.
Both.
both. Yeah.
Have you
I
ever
think
been to like?
that's just a constant for everyone. Like
Yeah.
either Bakugan or Pokemon cards. Okay, this isn't video games, pero can we count Pokemon as fantasy?
I
I
mean,
mean,
Wait, Pokemon is a video game. Pokemon is a video game.
yeah,
Shut up.
like
Hey,
are you implying Pokemon is
it
real?
literally started as a video game. Yeah.
pero ano, I think every single school had that sort of thing, no? Like where people gather in groups with like a bunch of cards.
Yeah, it was like that was like our betting rings, you know? Like we gambled Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you know? Like,
Yun nga, but the thing is, most of the time, absolutely no one knew how to play.
yeah. Like, okay,
No one ever knows how to play Pokemon.
okay.
Pokemon the trading card game.
I wanna.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I wanna ask you guys because you know I learned how to play the PTC, the Pokemon trading card game, when I was like high school. I was high school when I learned how to play the game. Do you tell me honestly? Do you guys know how to play Pokemon the trading card game?
No.
I just said no. Absolutely no one knows
Okay.
how to play it.
I have a collection. I think it's around 300, I think.
Is it fake
But-
or real cards?
It's fake, of course.
Yeah.
But I have that in my house.
Yung mga nabibili sa
And-
palengke.
Yeah. Pero hindi ko siya alam ko paano laruan.
Yeah. So I want to keep this like very short, but it was insane to me when I first learned how to play Pokemon, because it was honestly like it was kind of like it was fun, but like it wasn't really like Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? Like Yu-Gi-Oh was way more
It's not
fun.
super in depth.
It's very very simple. So what happens is when you're playing Pokemon, right? I forgot the exact specifics, but obviously both players have decks, and then like they draw a certain number of cards, and then they play rock paper scissors. Or no, they don't play rock paper scissors because turn order doesn't matter, because what happens is you choose you choose one card from your hand that you play, and it has to be a creature card, right? So let's say, just for example, let's say you and me are playing, Raffy. Okay, let's say I put down a Pikachu, and then you put down a Squirtle, right? So it's Pikachu versus Squirtle. And you know how Pokemon cards have like moves on them? Like some of them have 2 moves, some of them have 3 moves. So what you do is, it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. If like, I know, Rafi, you've played Magic the Gathering. It's similar.
Oh yeah, I have my deck right here.
Yeah, it's similar where it has a similar battle system where for for Magic the Gathering and for what was it? Pokemon, you need to have a certain number of like points of something. Like you need to have a specific number of like elements, or you need to have a specific number of land in order to
it's just money.
yeah, there's basically in both Pokemon and Magic the Gathering there's a currency system. In Pokemon it's elements, in Magic the Gathering it's land. And so once you have enough money to basically perform a move, you use up that currency, whether it's elements in Pokemon or land in Magic the Gathering, and then your creature performs a move. And so it's 1v1. So how Pokemon works is it's always 1v1.
Oh yeah, Ivan.
Yeah.
I think we steered too far from like the, no? Like,
No,
this
it's fine.
tangent, I think
No,
it went
no,
on
it's
for
fine
too
because
long.
I want to talk about this.
Sigurado ka?
Yeah,
Like, sige, go lang.
we're telling stories anyway. This is exactly how it was meant to go. So it's it's always 1v1, and basically whoever whoever's Pokemon kills the other Pokemon first wins, right? So if my Pikachu beats your Squirtle, what happens is at the start of the game, before we even start the game, we're supposed to take I don't know if it's 6 or 8. I think it's 6. But we're supposed to take 6 randomized prize cards. And then you're not allowed to look at them, and you're supposed to set them to the side. And whenever one of your Pokemon beats your opponent's Pokemon, you get to pick one prize card from the 6 that you chose at random that you can't see. So you pick a prize card at random and you add that to your deck. And basically, you keep going until one of you runs out of prize cards. Whoever gets all 6 of their prize cards first wins. It's a really it's very simple, but it's very fun. And then it got boring really quickly.
So, parang,
So it's good for a few time, for a few playthroughs.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Pero like a lot of like, oh sorry.
I think it's super RNG how you explained it. I think there's no skill involved, just luck.
Yeah, I mean, like
From what you explained it.
for a lot of card games, there's pretty much it's half RNG, half deck composition. You know.
Yeah, a lot of the times you have to you got to count on the heart of the cards.
Yeah.
Just believe.
Yeah. I feel bad for anyone that grew up without Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or Bakugan, or Beyblades.
Yeah.
I grew up with them, but I don't know how to play it.
Nah, that's fine. I don't think
Everyone knows how to play Beyblades.
No, but
Yeah, of course, you just spin it.
nobody knew how to play Pokemon. Nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person that took up Pokemon and or Yu-Gi-Oh and actually knew how to play. You know?
I knew one, but I think it's given because he studied in a private school. So I think that's a given. That's their pastime. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that only rich kids played it right, but just how
But they
I
had the resources to know how to play it right.
yes, and they have the resources to buy the real ones, not the
Buy
fake
real
ones.
cards. Did you ever have like high stakes, like anything when you played like card games, or when you played like Beyblade or Bakugan?
High stakes?
Like, did you, like, for example,
Like tense yung game, or like were we betting?
like betting? So
I don't know.
No, I'm certainly not. No.
like back in my school, something we would do is like we would play a Yu-Gi-Oh game, right? And we would bet one card from our deck, and basically whoever wins gets to keep the other opponent's card. So it was pretty much like, and like
Ah,
it had to be equal value. Otherwise you know it's not fair, right? For example, you can't just like you can't just bet like your 7-star monster and then they give you like a trap card, you know? Well, it depends.
well,
You know, no.
speaking of, like, yung betting sort of thing,
Yeah.
yung Koreans dun sa school namin, no
You had
elementary,
Koreans in your school?
the, yeah,
Yeah.
bunch. Uh, pero ano, a lot of them played like like yung Pogs. You
Yeah.
guys know Pogs? Yeah,
Oh,
Poggers.
like yung
is that the
tiny square cards you
yeah,
slam
yeah,
into the
yeah.
ground.
And then you
Yun
have
Pero
ang
to
nilaro ko.
we're going too far from video games and fantasy.
okay, whatever. Point is,
Still
we grew up with
games.
card games and Beyblades and beat 'em up. It was great. You guys know beat 'em on?
Bida man.
No.
Yun ba yung parang may tutulak ka sa likod ng
Yeah,
bid?
and it shoots
Yeah,
marbles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that.
Okay.
Masakit siya sa
Hindi,
kamay.
I'm in the dark.
Ilang beses na ako tinamaan.
Childhood, so great.
Youth.
I feel bad for anyone that didn't grow up with video games or fantasy,
Or played outside.
or just played with friends.
Touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass. Just in general, it's video games make up a big part of the core of a lot of. I mean, I don't mean to make this a gender thing, but a lot of guys. I don't.
Yeah, it
like,
is mostly dudes.
It's mostly dudes. I don't. Do you know any girls who are into like Beyblade or Yu-Gi-Oh or like
I did,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
pero not like super crazy about it. Like
Yeah.
they thought it was fun.
yeah.
But no one that like was super duper into the thing. And oh, actually, wait, never mind. No, I know one person, and I'm not sure if I should talk about them.
Yeah, but anyway, a lot of just people in general. Although I'm really happy that, especially with the addition of Valorant and other upcoming new games, there are way more girls in the video gaming community now. Because video games are becoming way more accessible to just the general populace.
Oh yeah.
Which is great, because you know it's kind of like 90% guys as of
Yeah,
recently.
and like a huge percentage of those guys are monumentously gross.
Yeah, so you know
Speaking
it's
of gross,
Oh no.
Ivan,
yeah.
huwag na natin pag-usapan like yung multiplayer lobbies.
I mean,
Or is that like something that's not allowed?
we'll leave that for later. For now,
Intro pa lang tayo, magkano?
we just
intro
got
tayo.
started, so I think for now, I can't really think of, cause like
Ayun nga,
I really don't mean to play into stereotypes, but I really
Yeah.
did not know any girls that were into the stuff that
May kilala
the
ako.
guys in my school were
once.
into.
May kilala ako sa amin, pero parang na-label sila as boyish, yung tomboys and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
That's
whatever they
the
do.
label that gets thrown around for a lot of that. Eh.
Yeah. Lalo na dati, kasi parang nag-resurgence lang yung parang woke or like, nawala na yung pagkarang conservative ideals nung mabandang late 2010s na eh.
Yeah.
Hindi yun yung childhood natin. So, medyo, you know, andun pa rin yung boomer ideology.
Although just in
Yeah,
general,
yeah.
I'm happy that like video games are becoming way more accessible, not just for just girls, but for everyone really. Because I'm
Oh
really
yeah, there's
excited.
less of a stigma around it.
Yeah, there's less like, oh, if you play video games, you're not gonna become anything in life, you know? Like there's less like boomers talking about how bad video games are for you, and there's more people that are using video games and just fantasy and creativity and art in general as a creative outlet. And I think ultimately, that's sort of the thing that I want to express in this episode is how fun video games, fantasy, all sorts of creative outlets are for us. And especially Psi students, because we are going to need all the stress relievers that we can possibly get our hands on. So
Personally, I think sleep is pretty good.
yeah,
also.
sleep is pretty good. Video
Sleep
games.
is
Hindi ko
fun.
alam kung mag-agree ka sa akin dun, Ivan. Dun sa Divinity, so many times I just want to sleep.
We like Raffy, the fact that you can't stay up until 2 a.m.
2 a.m.?
is so disappointing.
Yun nga, di ba? Ang
Raffy.
crazy ni Ivan. It's so
2
wacky.
2 a.m. is super early.
2 a.m. is so Raffy's face.
Oh my god. You guys are like...
The night just started. Shut up, Raffy.
You know,
2 a.m.
you know,
The party's just starting
you know,
up.
like before I had trouble with insomnia, so like I couldn't sleep at all. So I thought, oh, if I play video games to exhaust myself, I can fall asleep faster. Nope. Every single day, I ended up sleeping at like 6 a.m.
Okay, yeah, actually, speaking of, like, yung sleeping and stuff, I remember, like, reading in some article that just pretending to sleep, just lying down in general,
Yeah.
gives you, like, a similar, the similar benefits to, like, REM sleep. So just lying down, giving yourself a rest from, stupid amounts of video games playing until 2 a.m. That's really good. It doesn't matter if you're like super duper asleep, just as long as you could get like a good amount of rest, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Raffy, don't lie to me. That is not an article. I also saw that Reddit post. That's a Reddit post.
Yeah,
Don't lie
pero
to
the
me.
thing is, I read the article.
Anyway.
Diba, that's the difference between you and me, Rod.
Ako binasa ko lang
I
yung
read.
binasa ko lang yung title. Tapos ako, okay, cool.
Nabasa mo yung title?
Raffy went out of his way to actually research.
Nakita ko lang yung title, so scroll down na lang ako ulit. Like,
Anyway, enough about sleep, because everyone knows that that's the one thing we don't need. Video games. What are some of your guys' favorite video games?
I only play. Okay, wait now. Rod, go first.
Rod
Okay.
sounded very excited. Okay, Rod,
Okay,
shoot.
Yun nga eh.
Go.
Of course, Fallout.
Fallout. Which one?
New Vegas, of course.
Is that the one with the bugs that people were complaining about?
No.
It's
New Vegas is the
Bethesda.
really good one.
Okay.
The buggy one is everything made by Bethesda in general.
Right.
What I like about New Vegas is I really love having pretty good role play experience.
Like
And,
freedom?
Yeah, freedom. Yeah. I like freedom in
like
my
open
games.
world.
And open world in general. That's also why I also like Skyrim. And of course, D&D, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. What I like about them is I can truly experience something I don't experience in my normal life. Like, kung I want to experience, like, living in the future, like, where everything is so bleak and dark and black and white. Mga ganun. Like, I want to...
Me too. I would very much love to live in like a irradiated wasteland
Yep.
filled with
Nuclear
monsters that my face off.
Nuclear post-apocalyptic future.
I just want to
It's the
play...
dream. It's the dream.
I just wanna become a mailman, just walking around delivering bullets to someone's head. Parang ganun. Wait, can I say that? Like, can I say that?
I mean,
Yeah, I think you
it's
can do
fine. We're talking about video games.
Yung parang
Ayun
gano'n.
nga, Ivan wasn't really serious when he said we couldn't say the word
Among
kill.
Us,
Yeah.
Among Us.
I'm just making sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll get in trouble for this. Who knows?
Yeah,
Uh,
you wouldn't. It's fine.
um,
You're
Ako,
good.
yun nga. Like, kasi parang escapism na rin yun sa'kin, eh. Like, yung mga open world
Yeah.
games. Like, kasi sa labas ng bahay namin, there is no grass, and when I play video games, I can touch grass virtually.
So basically, you're very into like games that give you freedom of choice, like
Yes.
open world, like you can choose your own adventure, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah, that's also why I like D&D. Like, if I want to touch grass in D&D, I touch the grass. I say to the DM, "Hey, DM, how do you describe the feeling of the grass?"
Right.
Parang
So
gano'n.
how about you, Rafi?
My favorite games. I play like literally just like two games at you know
I know
for
one of
like the
them.
past 2 years. I think I've only played yet those two games.
Yeah, Zelda is one,
So
and the other is.
okay, no. Zelda is one of them. Yeah, pero that's not one of the two games. I already finished Zelda like 5 times.
Right.
Breath of the Wild, finished that 5 times. I'm good. It's still really fun to go back to, pero I'm good.
Yeah.
Uh, but the two games I play mainly are Team Fortress 2,
You still play that?
which it is the silliest,
Yeah.
stupidest, most neglected and broken game I've ever played, and I love it so much.
I feed you, man. I feed
There
you.
is always like a surplus of aimbots and like people who try to ruin the fun, but the game is so silly and so stupid that it just counteracts it. It's
It's
really wacky.
yeah. I
Like,
used to play a
yun yung
bunch of
charm ng
TF2.
TF2.
I used to play a bunch of TF2. I just stopped because the reasons that you just said. There's way too many like hackers. There's way too many bots. It's just like
Yeah.
and like Valve hasn't updated it in years. It's
Yeah, it's been like 5 years.
yeah, it's a
No
dying
update.
game, but if it were picked
It's
up
really
if
funny.
it were picked up by a studio that actually cared about it, it would be so fun. It still
Oh
is.
yeah.
It's just it's not as fun as it used to be. Uh,
Yeah. Then the other game that I was gonna talk about uh, would be ayun nga, the game that I play with you, Lukban and Josh,
yeah,
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Divinity Original Sin 2, right?
It
Or as
is
we like to call
really
it,
wacky.
DOST.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait.
yeah. Yung the Department of Science and Technology, my favorite video game. It is so fun. It gives you so much freedom
Yeah.
of like choice and stuff that you can do. Lets you interact with the environment a lot. There's a lot of nuance in the crafting and the combos that you can do in general.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really fun game to play co-op. Because it's sort of like Dungeons and Dragons, but if we weren't worried about destroying all of the DM's hard work,
So,
Or
because
schedule
ayan,
conflicts.
yeah. So,
yeah, or schedule conflicts.
because you guys have already talked about it, because we've already talked about it multiple times, or we've name dropped it. D&D. For those of you in the audience that don't know, D&D stands for Dungeons and Dragons. Even though a large majority of the game doesn't involve dungeons or dragons.
Oh yeah.
And so, Dungeons and Dragons is. How do I even begin to describe what it is?
You
Bec-
play as
Wait
John.
lang, wait lang. Yeah, you play as the main character John Dragon.
well,
Like he just kills stuff. Pero Dungeons and Dragons is self-described as the greatest role-playing game of all time.
I would
Uh,
I would say that Dungeons and Dragons is basically the grandfather of all role-playing games. It is
oh yeah.
it is the beginning, middle, and end of it is It is the foundation, and it is the pinnacle of role playing. And the only reason I say that is because
We play it.
we play it.
Bias,
Yeah,
It's
it's
because
just
bias,
it's just
and
bias.
also
Purely that.
because of how it's structured. Like when you play a video game, you are merely, and I don't want to sound like this sounds so pretentious to say, but you're basically
do it.
just you're just executing a line of code that someone pre-prepared. That's what video games are. Someone decided to code up a game, load the graphics, develop the visuals, develop the music, and then you're just playing through the code. Dungeons and Dragons is kind of similar in the sense that it is pre-prepared to a point,
Paper prayer.
but depending on how you play it, your friend or you is essentially the developer of the game. So what Dungeons and Dragons is it is a multiplayer co-op open. I don't even want to.
No.
It's so hard because it depends on the DM.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It is a role-playing game that conforms to the wishes of you, the DM, or maybe if you're a player. It's a role-playing game that conforms to the wishes of the DM and the people who are playing the game. So you play whatever game you like, whatever stupid genre you like, and you just plop your characters there and go. A lot of the times the players do a lot of stupid things,
Yeah.
but that is part of the charm of the game.
And
yeah,
there
yung only
are
limit mo lang. Ay, sige, sige.
yeah,
Tama na.
no, go Rod.
Okay. So, yung limit mo lang sa D&D is your imagination and the DM's patience
And their preparation.
and
Yeah.
their preparation.
And their ability to improvise. But basically, Dungeons and Dragons, even though that's the name, you or whoever the dungeon master is, that's what DM stands for. Dungeon master or GM, game master, basically the mastermind of the game, the mastermind of whatever it is that you're going to play.
Yun nga, they're the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, but for like a game.
They're more the nucleus, but sure. The dungeon master, the game master is basically if I were to compare Dungeons and Dragons to a movie, the dungeon master is the director, the producer, the director, the producer, every single character that isn't the main characters. He is also the script writer. He is also the casting director. Basically, the dungeon master writes the entire. Well, the dungeon master sets up the basis for the story and the characters involved in the story. The only thing that the dungeon master doesn't have influence on is the players. The players who are the rest of the group. So to make this easier to understand, I'm going to use my personal campaign. That's what games are called, campaigns, because they're kind of like story missions. They're it's storytelling. So I am the dungeon master for my campaign, and I have 7 players. Raffy and Rod are 2 of them.
Hello.
And as the dungeon master, I am essentially the script writer, narrator, director, producer of the entire game. And there's no actual producing or directing. It's all theater of the mind. Everything involved in it is thought up. It's imagined. So it's basically a video game that you play in your head.
Yeah, it's like if J.R.R. Tolkien made Middle Earth for Lord of the Rings, then us the players, we jump in and mess around with everything inside.
So the players, basically, depending on what setting you, the dungeon master, decide. They make characters based on the setting. And although the name is Dungeons and Dragons, very rarely is it ever about dungeons or dragons, because
Mm-hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons, even though it's called that, it doesn't have to be medieval. Because Dungeons and Dragons is the rules. It just gives you a guideline, a set of rules. It gives you a general like blueprint for what it is that you should be doing. But like, it doesn't have to be medieval. If you want it to be in the future, you can make a story about like the future Earth, and like there's aliens attacking, but you can use Dungeons and Dragons rules, like for example combat rules, or role-playing rules for Dungeons and Dragons. It's really, the story is whatever the dungeon master decides the story is.
And the players.
And the players. The players, at the beginning, they're sort of put into the story by the dungeon master, but eventually it gets to a point where the players are the ones deciding what happens in the story, because they're the ones in control of their characters. Their characters are the ones that are interacting with the world. And so it's kind of like a multiplayer book. Like if you've ever had a choose your own adventure book, that's what Dungeons and Dragons is. Of course, there's actually like a game element to it. Like there's actual physical elements to it. For example, fighting, because Dungeons and Dragons can be split into two: combat and roleplay, where roleplay is imagination and talking, and your DM has to act out whatever it is that you guys are doing.
Like your role play.
Yeah. So, for example, an example of that would be, let's take Raffy's character, a gnome named Gromit. Let's say if Gromit decided, hey, I want to jump off this 50-foot cliff. I would be like, okay. So Gromit gets ready, he sort of bounces up and down, and he dashes forward, and at the very last second, he leaps up and begins falling down at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared, as he begins plummeting 50 feet down. So basically, the DM is in charge of making sure that whatever it is the players do, it happens. That's the DM's job. He is the narrator, director, producer, and story and script writer.
Or at least if it doesn't happen, make it such in a way that it makes sense, that the story makes sense, and is sort of connected with stuff.
Or if it sounds cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For example, like the boring thing that would happen is, Gromit jumps off a cliff and falls 50 feet. He now, he dies. That's boring. That's lame. That's not fun. That's boring. So instead, I could be like, okay, as you jump off, Gromit, I want you to roll an acrobatics check. And basically what that is in D&D, there's a thing called skill checks, where you have to roll a 20-sided die, and you have to add, how good your character is at that skill. So for example, let's say Gromit the gnome isn't very good at acrobatics. Let's say, he's not very good, he doesn't add anything when he makes a skill check for acrobatics.
It's pretty fat.
Yeah. So when I
No, just like chubby, like hobbit fat.
Yeah.
Like, ina-imagine ko sa kanya parang Hobbit, pero parang yung payatot na si, ano name nun? Yung si Pippin, yeah. Like,
Si Pippin. No, Pippin's chubby. They eat a lot.
Yeah, so when you roll acrobatics, let's say Raffy rolls the dice, a 20-sided die, or what we call a d20. He rolls that. Let's say he gets a 13. Okay, a 13 is above average, because, 10 is sort of the middle of a d20. 13, you don't fully reduce all the damage that you take because you fall 50 feet. But you know what? You roll pretty well, and I'll say, like, you get a little less hurt. Or,
Yeah, your leg doesn't work anymore, and
yeah,
you'll never be able to regain the use of it ever again. But you're not dead.
you know, your legs are broken in 12 different places, but you're still alive. You know, you could do
Yeah,
that. Or if you're a really wacky dungeon master, you could be like, oh, Gromit jumps off the 50-foot cliff. But what's this? A giant pterodactyl comes out of the air and swoops underneath him, catching him. And now Gromit has to make a kind of skill check that makes it so that he doesn't fall off of the pterodactyl and plummet towards his death. You know?
Gusto ko mangyari to sa
What
campaign.
the hell?
Like, gusto ko to maging real encounter.
Like,
I wanna see
again,
this.
you're as the dungeon master is the one that decides what happens. If the dungeon master decides, oh, like basically the dungeon master's word is law. Whatever the dungeon master says happens. If the dungeon master, if I say, oh, one of the gods in my because my campaign setting has is polytheistic. It has multiple gods. Oh, one of the gods really doesn't like Gromit. He's gonna smite Gromit into oblivion. Oh, okay. Sorry, Gromit's dead. You know, like you could do that. That's not
Yung
really
character na lang
something.
yung namamatay.
That's not really something that you would do because that's lame and boring and like, you know, that's not cool. So like you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not very interesting.
Yeah. So usually the main point, the main thing that you should be doing as the director of the entire story is just make it as fun and as interesting as you can for you and your players, you know?
No, yeah. That is the biggest rule is have fun. That's about it. Like it is a game.
And games are
I mean, you might want to add a little bit of intricacy to the game, to make it more, mentally interesting, mentally challenging. I mean, if you wanna impress your players, but the biggest and most important goal is to have fun.
So, like you, Rod, I want to ask you specifically because
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this. What was Oh no, I just realized what I was about to ask you.
Yeah, tanong mo lang, bilis. I'm not afraid to answer.
What was your first, like, how did you get started with D&D? Like who or what introduced you to D&D?
Si Raffy.
Mm.
Kwento ko kung paano. Like, it was grade 7. I think it's... grade 7 yun, di ba, Raffy?
Oh yeah, grade 7.
Grade 7 or grade 8. Yeah. Parang, he introduced to me, like,
Oh no, it was grade 8. Yeah, it was
ay,
grade 8.
oo. Kaya, Sampa yun, di ba? Sampa.
Yeah.
Oo, nalala ko. Grade 8, lumapit siya sa akin. May hawak siyang, like, it's a super thick book. Like, super, super thick book. Tapos tinanong ko, hey, Raffy, ano yan? I was like, it's a D&D rule book. So, parang, okay. Tapos binasa ko. It's like, na-interest ako ng todo. Tapos nakita parang lonely na Raffy. So, sinalihan ko na lang siya.
But you know,
Oh my God.
because of that,
Ayun nga.
you got introduced to D&D, so.
Like,
I did.
Parang tatlo yung inimbatan niya. Hindi, 4. Ako, di ko mag-name drop. Pero parang 3 or 4 yung inimbatan niya. Tapos ako lang yung nagstay. So, like, okay, sure. So, pero yun nga, nasihan ako doon sa game. Kasi parang, yun nga, kaya yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Parang I like doing something na hindi ko ginagawa normally. And D&D can be an outlet for me to do it. Like, doon nga sa ginagawa ko, doon sa campaign, doon nga sa campaign kasi si Ivan sa si Raffy, DM ko yan, dalawa, both different campaigns.
Yeah, both me and Raffy run our own campaigns.
Yeah.
Similar
but
players.
But we haven't really been able to play recently
Because
you know,
school.
yung grade 11, medyo whack minsan.
Yeah, tama.
You know,
Yun
Pisay
nga.
makes you do weird things.
Yun nga. So yun nga. For me, I'm just a normal human. Like, I'm just a normal human. I'm just a student, grade 11.
Mhm.
Pero sa game ni Raffy, I'm a huge centaur, a cyborg centaur that charges into battle with her giant pole axe and gauntlets and timey-wimey magic stuff.
I
And then
don't remember how you convinced me to let you have that as a character.
tapos dun kay Ivan, I can play as a opposite naman, it's like a quiet librarian, that angel librarian that shoots magic out of their hands. Parang ganun.
Yeah.
So, I can be someone or something na hindi ako, like parang, yun nga,
That you
again,
can't be
I
normally.
can be, yeah. Parang,
Yeah, he can be your angel or he can be your devil.
He can be your angle or he can be your devil. Yeah.
Ayan. Diba? Parang ganun lang eh. Sa D&D is like a thing where you can... It's just really nice to be able to explore different characters
Yeah.
and different, you know, characteristics that you want to explore.
mhm.
Oh,
It's
and
just
by the
really
way,
nice to do like character studies and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Tapos maganda din siyang parang personality, bakit mo sabihin personality maker? Parang practice kung how do you talk to people.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very good for like practicing social skills cuz
yeah, sure.
like half of the entire game is just socializing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oo nga. Kasi nga dun ngayon sa sa games namin. Dalawa yan. Yung isa, yung parang centaur fighter ko, parang parang minsan medyo parang explosive yung personality niya minsan. So,
Mm.
can try to role play ganun. Pero dun yung parang sa librarian character ko, parang napakatahimik lang niya. Parang nagsalita lang siya pag kailangan. Mga ganun.
So, it's D&D is just a really really great like creative outlet for you to like honestly do whatever it is that you want to do. Because again,
Oh
like
yeah.
Raffy said earlier, D&D Dungeons and Dragons is only limited by your imagination. If your dungeon master allows you to do something, you can do it. Because again, dungeon master's word is law, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like for example, if you want to be like, if you want to play like a zombie that got resurrected, you can do that. If you want to be like a minotaur, you can do that. If you want to play like if you want to play a werewolf, you can do that. It really just
I
depends
wanna.
on like what your group decides is appropriate.
Oh yeah, speaking of like the characters and stuff that you can play, I was thinking of this one character concept, where it is like the entire concept is basically, the character is an Augustinian monk, like with the full cul-de-sac of hair.
Are we talking
You know what
like
I mean?
Roman?
Like no. I mean like sunny side up type hair. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the entire character. So he's a monk, but not like the cool Shaolin monks. No, he's like a vaguely Eastern European monk who is on.
Are we talking like Padre Damaso or like
Yes,
like
exactly.
Padre Salvi?
Yeah, Augustinian monk
Like
who
like
is
okay.
yes, who is on a mission to kill like a giant snail. Like that's about it. That's the character, and I really
Okay.
wanna play it because of it's just so much. There's so much potential for the character.
I mean, you can be whatever you want. So if you want to be Padre Salvi who has a really big vendetta against giant snails, I mean, you could do that, I guess. Uh,
Mhm,
so you can like with D&D. I do highly recommend if anyone's watching this, as much as possible, if you can, please find find a
You
friend
find
group.
people to play with.
Yeah, find people. I think that's probably like the biggest. I think that's the biggest
That's
problem.
the biggest barrier. Eh?
That's the biggest barrier when playing D&D. You need friends. So
Yun nga, we were really lucky. We were really lucky actually looking for people to play. Kasi I remember when I first started out, si Lokban, he actually introduced it to me, just the concept. Then I
Of playing
invited,
D&D.
yeah, he explained the concept to me. Then I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. I'm gonna research that. Then I got into it and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I want to play it with friends in school. So, in-invite ko si Lokban, si Walden, tsaka si Rod dun sa isang game.
Si
Na
Theo,
ano,
invite mo
turuan
si
ko sila
Theo.
maglaro.
Si
Yeah,
Theo,
in-invite ko rin si Tio.
saka
Pero,
si, ano name niya? Si, di maano.
basta, we invited so many people. Kasi actually, si Tio, I finally got him to play, like last year.
Oh, eh?
Pero, yeah. Diba, the game where you're part, where you wanted to listen in.
Yun
Ah,
yun.
yan ba yung
Yeah.
is that the game I'm
Yeah, you
playing
lost
in?
mine of Fandover.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So, ayun nga, we got really lucky, looking for players and stuff. Kasi, ayun, I had Rod, Lukban, and Walden, and some other people. Si Tio, he wasn't super interested. Uh, but, with Rod and Walden, you guys were pretty interested in it.
Yeah.
Then, just while I was, teaching the game to you in, like, saan yun? Sa
Sa service
service
area.
area. Yeah, like a bunch of people were like walking past us. They were like, "Oh, that looks nice. Can we play?"
I was one
And
of
nga,
them.
and we just got, yeah. You were like you were with Nigel, I think, diba?
Yeah.
Nigel and Brandon ba? I'm not sure.
Sila,
Basta,
kasama sila. Kasama sila doon. Si Nigel sa si Brandon.
yeah. So, ayun nga, we got really lucky looking for players. But I think that's the biggest thing stopping people from playing. It's like the lack of other people to play with.
Step 1, find
Or-
friends. Half of the audience.
If you don't have-
Well,
If you don't have any friends,
that's okay. No, but
Maraming mga naghahanap ako sa minsan. May nakita ko minsan sa Reddit. Tapos,
are you talking about like Discord groups?
yeah, may mga Discord
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't find friends, wow, that's sad.
that's so sad.
If
That's the
you
saddest
can't
thing.
find friends, if you do have friends but they're not willing to play Dungeons and Dragons to you because it seems nerdy or something, or they don't have time, or if you don't
just
have
need to
friends
keep
in
drilling
general,
it into their heads.
yeah,
Yeah, you just
either
need to keep drilling it into their heads.
either
until
do
they
something to
agree
make them
do it.
interested, or you find a group of people online who are already interested and want to play.
Oh yeah, those are the two best ways to
Which
like
is,
start playing.
Yeah.
pretty cool lang napansin ko. Nangyari nun, before magka-pandemic, nag-iikot-ikot ako sa school, tapos may nakita kong parang around 3 groups of D&D players na naglalaro.
When was
May
that?
nakita, pre-pandemic, nung grade 9
Like grade
tayo.
9?
Parang may nakita ko once na yung mga higher years naglalaro ng D&D. Nilalaro na yung Lost Mines.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Tapos may nakita ng mga grade 7 or grade 8s na naglalaro ng homebrews nila, which is pretty cool. Kasi akala ko dati is parang tayo lang yung gusto maglaro nun kasi wala akong nakitang discussions or kahit anong interest about D&D dun or kahit anong TTRPGs.
Also, the cool thing was whenever
I mean,
we
it's
played,
really intimidating to talk
Yeah.
about kasi,
Alin,
to
Ivan?
be fair.
whenever we played D&D, kasi we would play in like a public area, right? Like we would either play sa likod ng canteen next to the basketball court, or we would play in the gazebo.
Oh.
We were playing in public areas,
Mukhang
so
namimiss
like,
ka nang naglalaro sa Pisay.
oh well, next year, maybe.
Yeah.
Next year,
Maybe.
yung ano.
But
Dumating
anyway,
ako dun last month and ang ganda. Ang
yeah.
ganda ng place.
Um, we were playing in a public area, and honestly, it made me really happy whenever like lower years would come over and see what we were doing. Cause like I remember we were playing like Dungeons and Dragons, and some of like as this was grade 8, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and some of the grade 7s would like come over and like watch us play, and I found that really fun because the more people that get into D&D, I think the better, because D&D again is a
Yeah,
really good
it's a
creative
great out.
outlet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
to
It's
just
fun.
to just basically have fun, because the system that it's built on is really good, like the actual system that it's because the edition that we play, there's many versions of Dungeons and Dragons, but the one that we play is 5th edition, which is I think probably the most popular edition by far.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Like,
the most popular role-playing game of all
yeah,
time. Absolutely.
uh
Like especially with like the like people streaming their own games on Twitch, like with Critical Role,
yeah.
or with a bunch of that stuff. A lot of
Critical Role.
people have gotten into Dungeons and Dragons just
And
based on that alone.
I
Mm.
very much want to popularize and spread D&D. I would not I would want nothing less than, or nothing less, nothing more. I
Yeah,
don't know. I just
nothing less
want,
than turning every single person into like a Dungeons and Dragons zombie.
when I enter like Pisai during break times, I just want to see like groups just playing Dungeons and Dragons with their friends. Like that would be great, cuz it really is fun.
Yeah.
It's very very fun.
Yeah,
Um
seeing people do something you personally like is fun kasi
yeah.
parang na-enjoy din nila.
It's like, oh, the
Oh
thing
yeah.
I find fun, they find it fun too. That's great. And it's always fun seeing people get excited about, like, oh, they managed to solve the puzzle, or oh, they defeated the boss, or like all of these different achievements.
Yeah.
It's fun watching people have fun.
Especially as like a DM. Yeah, especially as like a DM, when you see your players, talking about your game, or having fun, visually and audibly having fun in your game, it really makes you feel really good about
It's very
yourself.
rewarding. Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it is. And
so
that's yeah, it's a really good motivator to keep playing, and to make more fun games for your friends and stuff.
um,
Fun,
Oh yeah, Ivan.
Rod, because I
fun play.
know out of the three of us, you
Yeah.
probably have the most, because this is something that I want to talk about. The reason why 5th edition is by far the most popular is for two main reasons. Or at least these are the reasons that I think it's the most popular edition of Dungeons and Dragons by far. One,
Mm.
because the system is way simpler than it was before. It's
Mhm.
way more compact. It's way more efficient. It's just way easier to understand.
Mhm.
The
Oh
second
yeah, it's
reason,
really beginner friendly.
yeah, it's way more beginner friendly than all of the other like editions. The second reason is because it's because okay, I do actually want to add this in, just because
Sige lang.
to iterate how beginner friendly it is.
Mhm.
4th edition Dungeons and Dragons unironically required calculus to play. Like
What?
like
Oh, seryoso?
I did not know
because
that.
because I remember their 4th edition had a system where AC was dependent on position.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And so,
And
Oh my god,
if
that's horrible.
to
You
explain,
would lose friends playing that.
yeah, to explain what AC is, AC means armor class. Basically, it's how hard it is to hit you. So, for example, if you have an AC of 18, the person that is attacking you needs to roll an 18 or higher. And 18 is already a very high AC, but basically, in fifth edition, AC is constant. It's only really changed by what armor you have, different buffs and debuffs. But in fourth edition, AC changed depending on relative position. So like if you were behind an enemy, their AC would be lower. If you were in front, their AC would be higher. I remember, unironically, reading a Reddit post where if you were using ranged attacks, you actually had to use calculus to like calculate AC.
Pero lower ano naman parang lower levels of calculus.
Yeah. Which is why fourth edition, that I think the AC system is one of the fourth edition AC system is one of the big reasons why it flopped. Fourth edition was like it was a failure. It was
among many others.
yeah.
Among
The like many people
Rod!
many damn it, Rod. Many people skip fourth edition and go straight to fifth, or if they want to play an older edition, they'll play 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Goated.
3.5 is much
ano.
better than fourth. Fourth is a
Yeah,
disaster.
3.5 or
Fourth is a complete
Yeah.
disaster. You have to use calculus to for AC. Can you imagine that? Ugh. But anyway, fifth edition so
Math
much more beginner
in my
friendly.
role-playing game? God.
Yeah.
Speaking of like yung Dungeons and Dragons in school. I just wanna take it back to that part. I remember playing with like the miniatures and stuff on the board.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of miniatures here that I painted. Most of them I just didn't paint anymore since there was no more reason to, since we don't see each other anymore in school. But I have
Anyway.
pero I have a bunch of miniatures that I painted that we used for our own game in school. So here's like a goblin, like a really cool goblin with an axe.
Yan yung
That could be
pumatay kay.
that could be Nilbog.
Oh yeah, it could be Josh's character, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Then here's one of my personal favorites. Like he's like a elf wizard person. I
That's
just
cool.
really like the amount of like variety in the stuff that he has.
Yeah.
Pero that's just me rambling.
Also, we got so sidetracked, but that's what D&D is. By the way, we're going to be talking about D&D for a long time. If you're bored, you might as well just click off. But if you have an interest in D&D, keep watching.
Oh yeah, speaking of, do you want to keep talking about D&D or I have another question that's not related to D&D, but sort of related to just
ask
fantasy in
Rod.
general.
Yeah, let me ask Rod the question that I wanted to ask before I went on
Yeah.
that
Oo nga
huge
pala,
side tangent.
Yun nga pala yung nangyari.
The second main reason that
Mhm.
that fifth edition is so popular is because the class system. The class system is so much more simple. It's way more efficient. It's way more fun, and I personally am a victim of this. I have folder upon folder of unused characters that I have thought of, that I have created, and I just have no campaign to use them because obviously I can't find campaigns. I can't find other groups to play these characters with. But I know for a fact that out of the three of us, Rod has the most number of unused characters, and just because I want to add some storytelling elements to this, Rod, I just want you to talk about like some of your more interesting unused characters that you haven't been able to introduce.
Okay. Nung pina-form up mo yung question, binuksan ko yung companion app ko.
Yeah.
Okay, wait lang. No, I said a pirated app. No. Okay. Binuksan ko yung 5e companion app ko and I counted I have 56 unused characters.
Oh.
56?
56.
Yeah. Kaso baka gamitin ko 'to, eh. Puwede ko ba ikwento, Raffy? Yung
Yeah,
pinaka-recent.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
The thing about Rod kasi like in the campaign that I am running, he kept being like, "Hey, what if my character leaves? Then I replace her with this character." Then that happened like 4 different times. I
I
had to prepare like a few encounters for them that just got scrapped.
there's something that I'm planning. There's
I've
something
been
that
exposed.
there's something that me and Rod were planning to do in Rafi's campaign that involved leaving just so me and Rod could play different characters, but
We're not supposed to tell Raffy that, right?
I mean, no,
No, you should. You
we
should.
really should.
Kasi
He's
I
our
planned
DM.
stuff. I planned stuff.
Okay.
Ayun, but Rod, you didn't get to explain the characters. Go lang.
Okay. I have, ito yung sabi natin, hindi ako sure, baka may mag-come up pa later. Pero ito yung dalawa sa favorite na characters ko na kay Raffy.
Mhm.
Bless you. Bless you again.
Oh,
Two, isang lizard folk. So basically, a crocodile barbarian. He's a hobo barbarian na nakatira sa swamp, tapos parang he's always covered in mud. Tapos he rides into battle with his giant elephant. Armored
yun
elephant.
nga. That sort of put me off about
Where
it.
did the elephant come from?
Kasi
I have no idea. Man.
Wait, is he a is no,
Wait
he's
lang.
not a
Everything-
ranger.
Everything I made is always under the rules. Yun lang yun. Ang rule is, kaya tinanong ko pa Raffy, Raffy, ano yung campaign mo? Is it a high fantasy, normal fantasy, o medium fantasy? Para ma-check ko kung may magic items ba akong pwedeng i-start. Kasi nag-roll ako ng parang starting equipment on higher level, and I rolled around 750 gold. Tapos naisip ko, I have 750 gold. What will I do with it? Tapos I was like, Raffy, I'm gonna buy an elephant and give him armor. And that will be my starting equipment.
How much does an elephant cost?
200.
Only
even think about
200?
it.
Yeah,
Yun nga, diba? You could buy like a squadron of like
You could have
elephants.
bought 3 elephants.
yes. No, I bought barding yun yung armor ng armor
Wait,
of animals.
wait. How does wait? I'm sorry for interrupting, but I really have to ask. How does a hobo have 750 gold?
I don't know. It's under the rules.
Okay. So
Let's just say that he stole it.
okay.
Yun na. Tapos yung isa pa, ito yung legit na like, I planned this for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
so.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
me and Rod talked about it before.
medyo may,
Was this supposed to be one of your replacement characters?
medyo may profanity sa pangalan niya. Pero okay naman sabihin
Maybe
ko.
you can just call him.
No, his
I'm-
name is, okay, ito na.
Let's call him Henry. So Henry, yeah.
Yeah, he's a sandman. Like he's just a homebrewed na pinag-usapan ko with Raffy.
Yeah.
He is a sandman.
So yeah, the thing that we were gonna make is sort of like a Tusken Raider from Star Wars, like the Sand People. Yeah.
Yeah, naisip ko parang
So they would be like natives from the eastern part of the continent.
Okay.
tapos naisip ko, hey,
Oh.
ano yung parang what will I make para napaka-unique niya? Like, sand people. They turn into sand.
Yeah, diba? Wacky.
Tapos yun lang.
Is that it? He's just a sandman?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. He turns into sand.
You know what you could have done? If you wanted a sandman, maybe you could have been like the son of Unearth and Wind Genasi.
Actually, yun din yung pinag-isipan ko. Parang I gave Raffy parang yung UA na nakita ko. Sabi ko, hey Raffy, what if I just, modify this? Tapos may
Yeah, then I prepared some stuff. Nothing too crazy. Then a few days ago, Rod was like, "Hey, Raffy, I'm not gonna use the new character. I'm just gonna stick with my own one."
Oh yeah, just a little side note.
And remember that other thing I wanted to do with this character? Yeah, I'm not doing that also. I'm gonna stick with.
no, 'di ba sinabi ko you can use him as an NPC na lang or something. Alam ko may sinabi akong gano'n, eh. Wala
Yeah,
ba?
may sinabi kang ganun. I mean, I'm still gonna use that one character, si Jax, at some point kasi it's really nice. Or at least yung concept ng character niya. I just think it's
Hmm,
really good.
Yeah.
Pero, ayun.
Yun nga, wait lang. Sorry sorry Ivan kung medyo mag-sideline ako.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Ako, when I make characters, I go into two routes. Either I stick with one stereotype and kinda, just deviate a little bit, or I
Mhm.
do very different types, parang iko-contrast ko to go against a certain stereotype.
Yeah.
Pero may ibang tao, hindi ako mag-name drop, but di ako sure kung pwedeng sabihin.
Yeah, don't
May
name drop.
isang may isang dude sa campaign, may isang character sa campaign ni Ivan. His name is Random Mice.
Mm.
No, no, yun yung sa campaign ko.
Wait, kay Raffy pala siya. Si
Yeah, yeah.
Random Mice. His character is literally just that, randomized.
Yeah, he was completely randomized.
Okay, so basically naglagay lang siya ng numbers, parang for race, for classes, for background.
And then
Tapos
he just
yun,
rolled the dice.
and he rolled the dice and just went along with it. Napaka like impromptu lang niya. Ang nangyari nun, he is a knight na turtle, is a turtle knight. Wait, ano yung class niya? Turtle
He's
druid
a
knight?
he's
He's
a
a
he's
druid,
a
yeah.
He's
druid.
a druid.
So
Tapos
he's a turtle who
Yeah.
his class is druid and his background is knight.
yeah,
Yeah, so what we talked about, like me and him, is that we actually were able to make like a plausible backstory and like a good-ish like storyline for him. So, ayun, his character Ran is like a guardian, a protector of the forest, belonging to like an ancient group of druids who like whose sole purpose is protecting the land, like that huge forest where they live in. And I think it turned out pretty good. Like, even with the completely randomized stuff, I think everything turned out well.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like Rand's character.
Yeah, yun yung sinabi ko, like, however you make a character, basta it all just fall down on how you play them.
Oh yeah,
Like, if
you
you,
could make
yeah, sure.
yeah, you could make like the best a character with like a really interesting concept, but if you're not like fully into the character, if you're not leaning into it super hard, and it could just fall flat.
Mm,
Also, side
tapos,
It
note,
really depends on the player.
kaya lang.
for any of you that might be interested in playing D&D, yes, there are rule books. Yes, there are like monster manuals and DM guides. Disclaimer: I am not advertising piracy in any way whatsoever.
For legal
How
reasons.
for legal reasons, for legal reasons you did not hear this from me. However, there may or may
But
not be certain
the
sites on Google that allow you to see may or may not allow you to see content about D&D for free. You know, you may or may
yeah,
not
the thing
search
about
up
it,
D&D rules rule book
Yeah,
yeah,
online
the thing
PDF.
about
I don't know.
it's
yeah,
not
but
true.
the thing about it is that those downloads and stuff are for, if you already own like a physical copy of it. Like me, I own the player's handbook. I downloaded a PDF of the player's handbook so that I could carry it carry the rules around and stuff around without having to lug around this huge book with me. For that, since I already have a copy in real life of the actual big book, I was able to go to trove.net. I repeat, trove.net,
Wait,
www.trove.net,
that's piracy. Blurt
and
that. Post
download
production. Post
a
production.
copy of the player's handbook.
Post production. Delete that.
Yeah,
Delete that
yeah,
clip.
yeah. What Rafi said.
That was actually no, that's actually totally legal though. Just so you guys
Trove.net.
know.
I repeat, You did not hear this from us.
Remember, you can only do that.
www.trove.net.
You can only do that if you own a copy of the book itself. If you bought one,
Yes.
you can go to www.trove.net and download a free copy of the PDF for not illegal.
Yes, so if you don't already own the Dungeons and Dragons rule handbook, do not, and I repeat, do not go to www.trove.net. And
Yeah.
definitely do not download the free PDF.
Yes, that is illegal.
No, but seriously
No,
speaking,
but actually, seriously,
yeah, it's literally all online. Just
Yeah.
search
yeah.
anything related to D&D. It's online.
Yeah,
It's
pero
free.
if you're like
Everything's free.
yeah, if you're yeah, then if you're like sort of skeptical about downloading stuff from those websites, Wizards of the Coast, the people who made the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, a they also made free copies of the basic rules. So all that you need to actually start playing, even just like a really simple game, they made copies of basic rules that are free to play, and you can download them online, print them out if you want to, or just have PDFs of them,
Just
and they
don't
are
distribute. It's illegal. It's illegal.
Or literally just go to one of any 2,000 sites that have the entire rule book online. Like if you
oh yeah,
just search D&D, just search D&D 5e handbook online PDF, and you will find at least 20 different sites, all with basically all of the
yeah.
handbook.
Remember, you should only do this if you have an actual physical copy that you bought.
But you don't
Remember, all
Wink,
right?
read.
wink.
uh,
Uh,
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
but yeah, like the entire monster manual is available online. Like
Yeah.
even though having an actual like battlefield, like this is only during combat situations, but like even though having an actual battlefield and like props and figure and like minifigures to represent your characters, even though that's very immersive and it's very fun, and if you want to invest in props to make your games a little more immersive and way more fun, that's fine. But literally,
It
D&D is free because you could literally just grab, like, you could have a piece of bond paper and then just draw a grid on it, and then you could have like coins represent your
oh
characters,
yeah,
and then just theater of the mind. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, D&D 5e is the most beginner friendly like role playing, like open world role playing game I have ever played, because you make up everything. So,
Wait. Pwede
oh
ako
yeah.
mag-sideline,
yeah.
mabilis lang.
Yeah. No, go
Um,
ahead.
what I
This episode's
really,
all about telling
yeah,
stories, so tell
what
as
I
many stories as you want.
think, yeah, sure. May isa ako napansin kasi once I want to buy the player's handbook, and I went to our local fully book, and I checked if meron silang stock nun. Tapos chinek ko. Tapos bibilhin ko na sana, but I saw the tag, the price tag. You know how much is it?
Yung rule book,
Yeah.
hardcover,
Yes.
how much? 2K?
How
Four.
much?
Four.
Oh,
What the hell? 4,000?
Yeah.
I got mine for like 1,000 something.
What the heck?
Ugh.
Then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sure, I can just get that, and I can't leave fully booked without buying anything. So naisip ko, tingnan ko na lang kung magkano yung yung mga adventure books. And I think I saw Curse of Strahd around 3.5.
Ugh.
What the hell?
Yeah.
No,
It's
that
literally
doesn't make
all
any sense.
online. It is
Yeah.
literally all online
Yeah. Tapos
for
so dun
free.
nang so dun
Yeah, just in case you don't have money to spend, you don't do that. Don't go to www.trove.net.
yun nga yung gusto kong sabihin kasi parang dun napunta yung usapan na
Yeah.
parang kaya naging daunting yung D&D sa ibang tao kasi parang, oh no, paano ko
Yeah, it's the
bibilhin yung
price
mga
tag.
Yeah.
resources? Like, sabihin natin 1.5 lang natin nabili yung yung rule book. But it's still 1.5. It's
Oh yeah.
1.5.
Yeah.
Ang dami mong pwede mong bilhin doon. Tapos
Yeah, you need to fork over a lot of things.
yung rule book lang yun. You also need to buy the grids. You need to buy miniatures. You
Oh,
need
you
to
don't
buy.
really need to.
Oo nga, oo
You
nga.
don't
Yeah.
need to.
I'm just saying it to make a point.
They're just
To
resources.
pero yun nga, parang you can also just make something na kuwari, this coin is my character. Diba? Parang, tapos yung grid nga, para sa mo, yung bond paper. Naalala ko nga yung, nung grade 8 kami, yung, yung map lang namin is isang printed na parang, isang bond paper na parang may print si Raffy. Tapos
Yeah.
ipapasok lang niya sa clear book. Tapos,
Yeah,
kasi
then I draw a
clear book,
map with
diba?
marker.
Yeah, the-drawing lang niyo yung map with a marker. Tapos ilalagay namin
Yeah, it
sa
was
taas
really
ng
fun.
pictures. Yeah, tapos parang yun nga, high school students lang kami. So, wala kaming pera. So, kailangan napaka-resourceful kami. And yun nga, kahit hindi parang quote-unquote legit yung mga resources na ginamit namin, we still have fun. Until now, sa Discord lang kami and we're using online
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's great because you
Speaking
have
of, like, do
online
you
stuff
guys?
to play D&D.
Mm.
Because
Oh yeah. Uh,
yeah.
oh sorry.
Kasi,
No, I was just gonna ask a question because I was really curious.
Mhm.
Do you guys have like a favorite, like a favorite moment or favorite scene from Dungeons and Dragons that you guys will be able to share like, on the podcast?
yung friendly pa,
Uh,
yung pwede bang sabihin
Kasi,
simple?
or at least
um,
just like a gist as a gist.
Rod, you start. I
Ah,
can't think of one that I can talk about on the podcast.
same, wait lang.
I mean, if you guys want,
Mapapaisip ako.
I can start.
Sige, mag-start ka.
I can start.
Mag-isip kami ng
Two of
parang
the favorite
SG.
things. Yeah, two of the favorite things that, or three of the favorite things that I DM would be, well, first, in the first campaign that we ran, you guys remember when you remember the chase scene with like the two cars,
Oh, I love
like with the
that.
cars and the motorbikes.
Oh
Yeah! Oh my,
yeah,
Yeah,
nakalimutan
the
ko
cars and the
yun.
fantasy motorbikes.
Oh my God,
yeah, yeah.
ang cool nung
That was
chase
my
scene na
favorite
yun.
one.
Kasi naalala ko
Where we were
parang,
trying to attack them in order to catch up to them.
naalala ko parang naka-tricycle kami. Tapos yung hinahabol namin is a truck or something.
No, no,
Like,
no. You guys were in the truck. Then you were trying
ah,
to, no, shake them off.
we tried to shake the tricycle off. Okay,
Yeah,
reverse. So fun.
they're like fantasy trucks and fantasy tricycles.
I remember I was playing a druid that game. So naalala ko, what I did is I turned into a giant bear. Then what I did, my other teammates threw a grappling hook to the tricycle that was chasing us.
Oh right, I
Then
remember.
I tried
Oh
to
right.
tight and then I tried to tight rope as
Yeah.
a bear, as a bear. I tried to tight rope to the tricycle. It's
Yun
so
nga,
fun.
I really, really liked like the earlier games where we had. Like everything was so experimental. Everyone was
Mm.
trying out like new
Oh
stuff.
wait. I
Like
have one.
really. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Continue,
Sige.
Rafi. I'll talk about it after you finish.
All right. I'll just go through the other two really quick.
Yeah.
So The other one in that same campaign was in the uh do you guys remember glass staff?
Oh, glass
Yeah,
staff.
glass staff.
Yeah,
He was
the,
the
Wait,
the
di ba
lead.
sa
scene
He was
brass?
the
where
he was the leader
IUNCTURA
of
wizard.
the red brand.
Hindi ba sa brass? Di ba brass staff? Di ba, it's
Glass staff
brass.
yung actual name niya. Glass staff yung actual name niya. Pero I
Pero
wanted to
yung,
be different, so I made it brass.
Yeah.
kasi nalala ko yung weapon niya is a brass staff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basta, uh, I, I, I think, well, I enjoyed it. Pero it slugged for some time, so we could just gloss over that. Pero
We
one
don't
of
talk
my
about
other
the
favorite
interrogation
scenes.
scene. We don't talk
Yeah, we
about.
don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. The other favorite thing that I ran was one of the most recent games at IDM was the Siege of Windenbury.
Mm.
Wait.
In your
Oh!
campaign.
Yeah, in my campaign.
Yeah,
Wait.
with Ivel and
Yun ba yung name
Freya.
nung yun ba yung name nung town? Hindi ko alam yung name ng town. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
Windenburg, where we had to take the town
Wait, is it
because
the
Yeah, you had to
Goblin?
take the
yeah, the
town back from the
Yeah.
goblin.
goblins, you know.
Yeah. Yun yung parang one of the games where we like plan for one session then just execute the plan next
I
session.
was so frustrated during the boss fight because my power kept going out.
Oo. Ayoko, naalala ko yun.
Oh
Tapos
yeah.
yung masaya din kasi sa D&D, yun nga, mag-set ako ng konti, is whatever you planned, lahat ng kaya mga players, whatever you plan, it won't be followed.
Plans
Yeah.
plan
During,
it's
Just don't make plans.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very rare that plans actually work or go through at all.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know what
remember
is
your
wrong.
heist? Remember the heist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heist.
uh
It was so funny.
Okay, okay, so our goblin cleric set himself on fire to intimidate a guard.
um can we talk about well, okay, I want to talk
Yeah, your
about
thing,
I
diba?
want to
You
talk
wanted to
about
talk
my
about
thing,
something.
but I'll talk about the Nilbog situation later, but
Oh my
so
god.
my thing that I
What part?
remembered.
Lahat nun.
This wasn't funny. This was just, well, it was funny at the end, but this was mostly just cool because this was basically my first moment where I was like, wow, so this is D&D. Okay, so just for context, I can't say a lot of the backstory of my character for multiple reasons, but the very first D&D
Oh yeah.
character I ever created was a green-haired necromancer elf named Shiel,
Ah.
Xiell, Shiel.
Mhm.
And because I can't describe exactly what her actual backstory was, I will just say she was a magical grass grower. I'm not gonna explain or define what a magical grass grower is, but she was a
I
magic
remember
but
now.
she was a magical grass grower. She was a yeah, she liked touching grass. Um so she was
Wait.
a so my green-haired necromancer elf who was a magical grass grower. I remember one time we were supposed to basically storm this room that had like 4 or 5 goblins in it, and it had someone that we had to rescue, and so I remember because there's a spell in D&D called Firebolt. It's basic. It's pretty much the most basic, like most common spell that any wizard would have in their at their disposal. So I turned to uh, my party mates, and Shiel asks any of them if they have alcohol or oil or in any way, and then Josh's character tells Shiel that Josh stole this like jug of alcohol off of someone. I forgot where Josh's character got it from, but Josh's character stole a jug of ale, And then I remember I was like, okay, I have a plan. I have a plan. We storm in. Josh's character throws the alcohol above the group of goblins. One of the other characters shoots the bottle
I remember this.
shoots
Oh my god.
shoots the bottle with an arrow, breaks. Well, I okay, just so I can just so I can recreate the the surprise of the moment. I didn't explain to the party what I was going to do, so I just told Josh's character, or I just told the party to trust. Shiel just told the party to trust her, so she asked Josh's character to throw the alcohol up, and then she had someone else shoot the alcohol, the jug of like wine, and it broke, and all of the alcohol splashed on the entire group of goblins. And then as the alcohol was falling, and it was splitting up into like multiple puddles on top of the goblins, Shiel shot a firebolt at the alcohol. So basically, as it was splitting up and falling down, she lit the alcohol on fire, and the alcohol splashed on all the goblins and basically lit the entire group of goblins on fire with one jar of wine. And it was the most epic moment that I had during that entire campaign, because it was very short-lived, but that was sort of the moment where I was like, wow, this is D&D. It was so hype in the moment. It was also hype for a different reason, because
I want... sige. Tuloy mo na yun. Tapos,
it was so hype in the moment because for the wrong reasons too, because I believe when I asked someone to shoot the alcohol, like they missed 3 times in a row.
then buong party yun.
Yeah,
All,
the entire party tried to shoot the alcohol. All like everyone kept missing, and I think Raffy really gave it to us, because this absolutely should not have been allowed. But everyone kept trying to shoot the alcohol while it was in the air. Everyone kept missing, until finally, after like 5, 6 tries, maybe someone finally shot an arrow, and it broke the glass, and finally we were able to do it. Our rogue stormed in, grabbed the person, ran back out, and then one of us, I forgot who exactly it was, but one of us, I think, was it
No, that was
Mold
Rod's
Earth?
character.
Was it Mold Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rod's character used Mold Earth to block the entranceway. So we essentially lit like a group of goblins on fire, and then just blocked the entrance, because outside of the entrance there was a river. Like that was the only source of water in like next to or near that room. So we basically burned a bunch of goblins to death and
I thought
locked them in.
ano kasi nangyari dun sa like PG family friendly thing na sinasabi mo kanina?
yun nga eh. Lala ko simula, we cannot say the word kill.
You cannot say the word kill. You cannot
You
say
know
the
what?
word heck.
It's all good. No, I didn't say. I didn't say we couldn't say heck.
Oh my heck, pwede pala. Wow.
I said we could say, "Oh my god." This is just me being extra precautious. I don't know. I might get ban hammered. Who knows? But yeah.
Oh wait, Rod was gonna say something.
Yeah. Go, Rod.
Yun yung sabihin ko, like, yun yung sinabi ko kanina, yung everyone tried to shoot the thing, but no one can shoot it. Ako naman, wala akong maisip. I cannot think of anything na nag-stand up for me kasi kasi grab the mouse. Okay, grab the mouse. Okay. Sorry. I can't remember anything sa games natin unless na ipaalala nyo sa akin, kasi every time na naglalaro tayo, I'm always just out of my mind. Yung parang iniisip ko lang is, yes, I'm playing a game, I'm happy. Parang ganun lang.
Ayun nga. Then that's what's important.
Yeah.
If
I,
you're having fun, edi you're winning.
yeah, I can't remember anything. Parang nalala ko lang, haha, I charge into battle like swish swish, haha, you're dead.
Rod is super into like fighter characters though.
Ano,
Oh yeah.
Like
He is Sir Rod, he's crazy with the tactics.
though I will
yeah.
say yeah, Rod is like Rod's battle IQ is insane.
Hmm. Yeah, I always, I think it was start, and then no, from,
Multiple instances
yeah,
during the arena
Oh yeah.
fight, during the fight against the shark, during the
yeah,
fight against during the
Arena
fight
fight.
yeah, during the fight
Yeah,
against where you
Owlbears.
yeah, the owl bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
when did
uh,
you fight a shark?
The land shark
Land
in the
shark.
cave.
There, that was the owl bears.
Those the
Ah,
owlbears.
Oh no, the land shark was
yeah, you guys didn't
dead.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
okay.
owl bears killed it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm more of a, ayoko sabihin to pero totoo siya. I'm a meta gamer. Like
And that's fine.
I think of the rules. I memorize the rules and I play. No, I don't play around it. I play through it. Like I make.
Yun nga.
I am the
He
type
just
of
takes the
person.
rule, like puts them in a row, then just barges through every single one of them.
Yes, pero I make
Hey,
sure.
he's not subtle about it.
Like, hey, but the rules doesn't say that. Gano. Pero lately, I'm trying to fix it na sasabi ko lang
Hindi,
siya.
hindi, hindi. It's really fun though. And
Yun,
it makes a lot of really cool moments.
yun nga. Pero at least ako yung type of person na inaalam ko yung system before I play it.
Yeah.
Ano?
Mm.
Rod is very good at combat because
Yeah, he's very good at
Rod is very good at combat
like
simply because he understands like how the rules work in combat. Like he's very like
and yeah, he's very good at like surgically murdering people.
yeah.
I can't say murder.
We'll see. You know, if I get penalized, who knows?
Surgically slaughtering children.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
No, I draw the line even on my characters, even in all games. I draw the line on children.
Yeah, very good.
Good guy, Rod.
Okay, okay. Can
Good
you
guy, Rod.
lift the banhammer now? Okay, redemption.
Sige, sige. Oh yeah. We've been talking for Dungeons and Dragons for a really long time.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew this was what it was gonna devolve into.
Oh yeah. Pero do you guys remember if you would allow me at least a little tangent?
Yeah.
You remember when I was asking
This
about
entire
multiplayer
episode has
lobby?
been tangents. What's new?
Trash
No,
taste.
you remember when I asked you guys about like multiplayer lobbies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the the most memorable lobby you've been in like while playing a multiplayer game that you're allowed to share?
Most
May naisip ako pero hindi siya, I don't think I'm allowed to share it. Okay, ito na sasabihin ko. It's League of Legends. Yun na lang masasabi ko.
yeah.
May,
Okay.
may gets mo naman kung ano yun.
Yeah.
Yun lang sasabihin ko, League of Legends.
That's all we need to know.
Alam naman kung ano yung mga nangyayari doon.
You know, speaking of League of Legends though, video games, this was in grade 8. This was in grade 8. Was it grade 8 ba or grade 7?
Yung ba yung tournament?
Tournament,
That's grade 7.
Grade
That's
7. Me and Rod entered an
No.
esports tournament because it was one
Yung
of
Dota 2?
because no League of Legends because it was one of
hindi.
it was one of the higher year scales. I hope someone in the future makes another esports tournament scale, but it was
You
one of
guys can next year, come on.
it was one of the higher year scales, an esports tournament, and we signed up for the League of Legends category because there was League of Legends, Dota 2, CS:GO, and there's a few other. I think there was one more. I'm not sure, but
Hindi, tatlo lang.
yeah,
Yung
those
tatlong.
those are the three: League of Legends, Dota 2, CS:GO. It was a 5-man, and me and Rod were two of them. I was mid, and Rod
No.
played
Jungle.
Rod played jungle.
No.
Uh, to say the
Oh.
least, it was a complete one-sided slaughter. I don't think you could find another game anywhere of League of Legends that was as one-sided as that game was. I think it was 30 plus to 2.
Yeah.
30
The
plus,
thing
like,
is,
basta
yeah.
less than 5 yung, less than
Yeah.
5, and then 30 plus yung sa nila.
Oh, I think hindi magets ni Raffy. Pero 'di ba sa League of Legends may ranking system.
Yeah,
Ranking system.
like
Um
iron,
our end,
bronze, silver,
yeah,
gold.
the higher years na katapat namin is around platinum, gold. I think yung lowest nila is silver.
Yeah,
And yung highest namin is silver, which is si Brandon.
yeah.
Tapos si Ivan,
I
what
was
rank are you on?
bronze.
I did not play rank. I don't play rank. I d-
Yeah, and we
and
thought,
our
oh, we got this. This is a fun idea. Let's 5-man tournament. Gets absolutely
no,
stomped.
it's not even. We play for fun. No, it's not fun. It's league. It's not fun.
we
League is
we
the complete
we
opposite
never
of fun.
practiced. We did not practice even once. We never 5-man scrimmed. Not once did we ever play together as a 5-man group. The first time we ever
You just
5-man
went in blind.
the first time we ever played together 5-man, it was during the tournament itself. Absolutely slaughtered. The absolute worst part was that we oh no. We went outside because they were projecting it. They were projecting the oh god, they were projecting the tournament
They
to
were
an audience outside, and it was majority our batchmates. We went It was a whole walk of shame. We left the door to the faces of at least like a dozen, like maybe 15 people from our batch who just witnessed us get so absolutely stomped. Like, that was the worst walk of shame I have ever had, like, in my entire Pisay school, like, career in general. I have never been more ashamed than when I had to walk out of that class, than when I had to walk out of that computer lab having
Uh,
only like 3 kills.
I'm gonna add something. Um, that was my last game. I did not play afterwards.
That was the game that made you quit League.
Yes,
Oh
I
god.
quitted with that for that. Now I'm recovering. It's been like 4 years since I played League, and I'm having fun.
Pro
I'm getting my level. No, nawala si Raffy. He died.
it's
Raffy
fine.
just left.
Just
Uh,
just pro tip, don't
don't
play
play
League.
League.
Just
Don't,
don't play League. Don't
just
stay
uh,
away. It's not fun. It's really not fun. It's not worth it. No matter what anyone tells you, it's not fun. It's
don't.
not fun.
You
Uh,
guys still talking about League of Legends? I got
Yes.
disconnected.
I thought you left because the last frame of when I saw
It
you is
was
just
literally just you face palming.
yeah, your head on your palm, and tas
I
nakapikit ka na lang.
I thought you were just that disappointed in us. I was like,
I was
I
like,
was like, damn, Rafi is taking this personally.
damn, Rafi must hate League.
I
I hate
am
League of Legends so much.
I am never playing League of Legends ever again.
I haven't played League. Yeah,
Um,
I never played League.
good for you.
do
Congrats.
you guys play
You win.
Thank you.
Riot
You
has
win
a
in
new
life.
game though, Valorant. That's been out for like two
A new
years.
game that's been like
Well,
yun.
almost 2 years.
No, I played it before. Like nakalaro ko ata kita dati. Pero
Me?
yeah, I played with you at some point. I remember.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Pero
I don't
I think so.
remember because I don't think we played together. I really don't think we played together.
Did we? And then it made me remembering some. No, never mind. That was Divinity. Pero
Yeah.
yeah, pero I remember playing Valorant. It was fun. Pero personally, I am not like a super big fan of like competitive games.
On camera.
It's just too. Oh no, I can't open my camera. I'm outside of the room na. My brother's gonna sleep.
Okay. My turn.
But ikaw na mag-on cam. Alright. Ba't di ka naka-on cam kanina?
Ewan ko lang.
No.
My turn.
Okay.
My turn.
Pero nga, it's just not something that vibes with me, like the competitive aspect.
Yeah.
It's too much pressure. It gets too much on my nerves.
Yeah.
Pero I don't remember what we were talking about before this.
League.
I don't
Multiplayer games.
I don't think we were supposed. Most memorable multiplayer. This podcast, there's no structure to this episode. I wasn't planning on this episode having any structure anyway. Like I knew it was gonna end up as just us talking about, D&D.
Before we start, Ivan told us, "Hey, I'm just gonna say the intro. You're gonna say your names. Then I'm gonna give you a question. Then I'm gonna give follow-up answers." We did not follow any of that. He gave us one.
Yeah,
He gave
from the
us
start,
one
we forgot it
question.
immediately.
He gave us one question. Then it just goes down from that.
It's
Just
like
south.
it's exactly like D&D. You start with a plan and then you realize right after the first step,
Oh my
wow,
god, we're idiots.
we can't do this. This is not gonna work out. But you know what? I was planning on this being an episode full of stories and just talking anyway.
We're
Yeah,
sure.
it was fun. Speaking of stories, di pa natin natuloy yung multiplayer lobbies. Ano yung pinaka-juicy thing na naalala nyo?
Have you guys...
Kasi kinalimutan ko yung league.
I mean, ako meron akong story if you'd let me share.
Okay, since you have an actual story, you'll go last. I just have a simple question, just because I want to get this out. Have you guys ever met an e-couple? Have you guys ever come across an e-couple?
No.
Yes.
Raffy?
No.
Really?
Dun sa Team Fortress 2.
Ano yun? A guy and his bot.
Yeah, like no. There was this guy. He was wearing like super duper like edgy cosmetics on like he was like playing heavy. He was wearing a bunch of super duper edgy cosmetics. That's he was on the enemy team. Then like he was walking towards us. That's right behind him from behind the wall. There was a medic who was like healing him like with so many hearts. Like so many heart cosmetics.
She's his angle, but he's her devil.
Devil.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
He's the devil.
You couldn't have gotten more pink than what that player was wearing. There was so much pink and hearts.
I'm his angle.
That was the entire thing.
He's my devil.
Devil.
Ayun nga. Pero why were you asking the question ba? Yung e-couple?
Because I've seen so many videos of like his sage, her jet. I just like, if anyone's watching this,
Why?
if you have a partner, that's great. Please
Just
never
don't advertise it.
Please never roleplay or advertise your partnership on like a video game. Like if you wanna be lovey-dovey in public, go ahead, post it to your Instagram, be happy. That's on you. Just don't, not in a video game.
Yeah, pero if you're gonna be playing Valorant, you're gonna be stuck in that lobby for what? 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Like,
A stupid amount of time.
I really don't want to listen to two people flirt in my competitive game for 40
Wait,
minutes.
on cam? Ay, on mic?
Yeah, on mic.
On mic?
I've never experienced it personally, but I've seen, like, I saw one video where it was just two people, like it was a jet and a pocket sage, and and they were just flirting the entire match.
God.
I hope I never come across that.
Oh my god.
You know, sometimes I really thank God for giving me a bad laptop. I am free from the shackles of e-girls and e-boys. I can just open the apps that I use for my D&D and live with my nerdy life. Huh.
It's just like you're like a no, just like a sheltered hermit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though I do
You
want to
just no,
preface this.
you just keep to yourself, to your ancient scrolls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though before
For my
we, yeah,
totally not pirated www.trove.net player hat
Yeah.
and Tasha's and everything.
yeah.
Ow. Sorry, I poked. Remember the ano?
Oh
Remember
yeah.
the thing I had. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
accidentally
Ow.
yeah. Before we
accidentally poked.
completely move from D&D, and just before you talk about your story, Rafi, I do want to just end this D&D section by saying, if you're interested in D&D, if you're interested in role-playing games, open world, if you have friends that are willing to play with you, just play it. Just try D&D. It is, like, if you want it to be, it is completely free. All the resources you need are all the resources you need are online.
Remember, it is only technically paid.
The character sheets are basically like the templates that you make your characters on. They're completely free online. You just gotta print them out.
Mm. Tutorials are free as well.
There are free tutorials on YouTube to teach you how to play D&D, to teach you how to start
Oh
like
god.
playing D&D. It is completely free, and like how I plan on, like, I'm so excited for face to face because I get to play face to face D&D with my friends instead of having to play over Discord.
Oh yeah, that's going to be so fun.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's going to be free. I'm not going to spend any money because you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to grab a piece of bond paper. I'm going to draw the map on the bond paper. I'm going to draw the grid. And then I'm just going to copy and paste all of the images that we use for our characters on a piece of paper. I'm going to cut them out into like tiny circles, like tokens. And then that's what we're going to use to play as our characters.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, neat.
it's
That's
free.
gonna be so fun.
It's completely
I've
free and it's very fun. Please,
mm,
if
Yeah,
you
alam nyo,
have,
we should set up like a time where we could like meet up
yeah,
somewhere like real life.
yeah.
Like
If you
kahit sa
have,
summer.
if you have
real
any,
life.
any
Yeah,
like
like real life. I wanna play.
any
No,
interest
classic
at all,
Graphics,
if
yeah.
you have any interest at all in role-playing games, fantasy, video games, D&D, it's very fun and it's
Oh yeah.
free. Try it.
Speaking
Anyway,
of D&D,
on to you, Rafi. Your story.
No,
nice. All right. So
gusto ko
I
isang
have
tangent to Rushper.
I have two different stories, both vastly different and really strange. So, do you want me to start out with like the really racist guy or the other one?
Wait, what?
Uh,
Let's end on a good
what?
note. Let's end on a good note. So I think unahin mo yung racist.
All right. So,
Oh no.
Ano to?
I was playing Team
I'm gonna
Fortress
get
2.
in so much trouble.
I was playing I was playing Team Fortress 2. I couldn't join like a Valve matchmaking server because they were all infested with bots and it wouldn't let me in. And when in on the chance that I was able to get in, I was killed immediately by bots from the other end of the map.
Yeah.
So what I did, like any crazy person out there, I loaded up a community server.
Oh no.
I played on High Tower. I got in. I played for like 5 minutes. Then after that, like a squad of 4 people just came in. Like all of them open mic.
Yeah.
Uh, I left the game for a while, came back.
They were still
Then
there.
they were still there. But the thing is, when I came in, there's like, my username is Crispy, right? So it said Crispy has joined from the Philippines. So they were like, what the hell is the Philippines? Go back to your country. Like they thought I was from like some sort of Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
So they just kept, throwing slurs at me. It
Ugh.
was really weird. They couldn't even research enough
Could you
to
tell where
like to
they were
know that
from based on their names?
where they were from.
Yeah.
Sila?
Yeah.
They sounded like they sounded like really sweaty and fat.
I mean, I guess that's all we need to know, you know?
I could, like, from their mics, I could almost I could almost smell the Mountain Dew.
You may get about.
Yeah,
You
I
could
I could.
smell the sweat glands.
Yun nga, they had the, you know what I mean? The when they
Oh
were
no!
talking.
No! Don't do that. Please don't do that. That's terrible.
No.
Basta, I was there, and I just wanted to see how it would go. So eventually, they just resorted to like bullying literally every single person on the server. And it was really, really, really weird. Kasi no one else was really doing anything to them. Pero I had no idea where they were getting their material from. Basta that was the first one. It was really weird. Pero the second one, so I queued up with like a really, really Scottish person.
How did you get a Scottish person?
I don't know. Siguro he went to like, you know,
Let's go.
like maybe Australia or something or somewhere close here. Basta he had this really, really thick Scottish accent. And, or maybe he wasn't Scottish and he was just role playing, you know.
Demo man?
Yeah, he was playing Demo Man.
Wait, okay. I think he's role playing as Demo Man.
Yan nga. Pero it was really fun. Like ano, he had the whole, sino kasi yung dude dun sa ano? Yung ano, Scotland forever.
Oh! Wait. It's the,
Yung blue yung
Wallace.
Yung may,
William Wallace.
Yeah, si William Wallace.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was. I think he was no role play. He was. I think he was role playing as William Wallace. Like he even had like ano, he had all the cosmetics. He had the kilt.
He had the Highlander.
Yeah. Basta he just like ano, like, he was like a really big morale booster. Like he gathered the team into like into ano, like different offensive positions and told them to push.
So
Like
it's
from
just
different
talking.
flanks and stuff.
Just talking
Yeah,
and really deep.
para siyang military commander.
He just
It was
took
so
up the
inspiring.
reins.
But he's doing
Scotland
this.
forever!
He's saying this in a very thick Scottish accent.
Yeah, in the thickest Scottish accent.
They may
Pero
take our
it was so
lives,
inspiring.
but they'll never take our
But
freedom!
they will never take our freedom! Yeah, pero I think that's it. I just really love that guy. He was so fun to play with.
You know, usually at like the end of these episodes, I would have like a moral lesson. You know, like in
There's no
like
moral
like
lesson.
the
There's no
previous
moral.
like the previous episode, it was depression and anxiety, and I was like, you know, if you're struggling with mental health, go seek professional help, get a support group. You know, you are not alone in this. Like in the dreams and ambitions, you know, make sure that whatever it is you're gonna do, you know, make sure that you're happy, you're successful, and make sure that you know it's your passion. This episode, they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedoms.
Oh, freedom!
I don't know.
Yung,
I
Yun
don't
nga.
know what the moral lesson of this episode is supposed to be. I don't know.
Ivan,
The
I
moral
I
lesson of
know.
this is like D&D is sort of like free therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
everyone else you're like, doing therapy with is also mind-numbingly like stupid as well.
Yeah. Parang itong podcast nandito to, parang D&D is nothing like you're just friends hanging out, just talking, random stuff. Yeah, parang yun nga, sa D&D din, parang sabi, para tong podcast na to, we started with a plan. We didn't follow the plan. We
And
rambled on like D&D. And,
Okay,
pero,
the lesson here is that we're incompetent.
yeah,
but we still have fun.
lesson
That's
is
what's
it's a
Oh yeah.
miracle we're in Pasay.
All right. Are we gonna end it there?
Probably, yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
wait lang. Before you end it, can I plug something? All
wait,
right.
hold
So,
on. I have an entire section for that. Okay. Anyway,
Oh no.
thank you very much for watching this episode of the Viner Things in Life podcast. Raffy, Rod,
Among us.
is there anything that you guys want to plug? This is your time to do
Rod?
so. Go ahead.
Rod, wanna go first?
Don't play League.
Raffy, any words from you?
All right. Hi, I'm Rafael Libonao. I am one of the main hosts of Brainsight with IUNCTURA. You can go check out the IUNCTURA YouTube channel in the description of the video, which Ivan will put there.
Yes.
And
Oh,
go
wait.
check out Brainsight. My favorite episode would be episode 2 and maybe episode 6 if it comes out at some point.
Rod,
I
plug your
forgot to
scale.
plug mine.
Yeah, Rod, plug your scale. I'll put it in the
I for-
description anyway. Rod,
Yeah,
plug your scale.
Yeah, Jacaralium, we do gaming stuff. My favorite episode will be mine because I made it. Thank you.
Okay. To anyone that maybe and okay. How do I end these episodes again?
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Just say goodbye. We
Good.
love you very much. Bye.
Okay. To anyone that might be watching this, good night, good morning, and or good afternoon. I'll see you in the next and actually
And good
finale
night. Bye-bye.
episode. Episode 5 is the finale.
And he
Look
did
out for
not-
that one.
Oh, yeah.
And he did not press record.
Raffy is in the finale.
I'm not there? I'm not there?
No.
No.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Why?
It's max 3 people. I can only have 3 people. I'm
One per
sorry.
each episode. Okay, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay. Anyway, good night.
No.
Play D&D.
Don't play League.